Lorena, and I'm gonna try something completely new. I've never done this in my life, and I had what am I gonna try? So today I'm gonna try to figure out how to put binding from the Longarm. I've never done it before. I don't even know if I can do it. I have my client's binding here. What I did is I unraveled all her binding and I found center. I'll link the video below that I'm kind of following, and what she said is find center on the machine. So I rolled my quilt down, and so I'm finding center of the binding. Center of the binding. Let's try. Okay, so let me get you closer, and I'm gonna just put it here. All right. Couple of reasons why I don't do this and I don't recommend it is because, one, when you're long arming a quilt, it tends to stretch and bow and shift, and it's not a perfect square. Reason number one. It's really hard to put binding on a quilt that's not squared up. So I've never done binding on the Longarm before because I tend to have a lot of quilts that are not perfectly square, and I like to trim them. So I'm gonna grab it, pull it, and then I want an accurate 1/4 inch. I've never done this, it's not my technique. And I think like the more I do it, then I will figure out things that will work for me better. I think I need a ruler to make sure I have a straight line. I'm gonna fold it like you normally fold a seam, like that. And then I'm gonna use my ruler to get make sure it's nice and clean. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix that because it kind of went off a bit right here, which it's right there. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna tack it. I went ahead and rolled the quilt, and I believe you work on one side and then you go back to the other side and keep rolling the quilt. So I'm gonna take this pin out, getting a pin right here and locking this down this way. I would do it away from me so that it doesn't shift on me while I'm doing the ruler work. Start where I ended. Travel down, bring the ruler down, travel down. Things they don't tell you when you're doing this, literally my back fabric folded underneath this whole pleat, so I'm gonna have to take these stitches out. You could literally see like a whole fold line here. I don't know if you can see that, that's a fold. So I'm gonna have to unstitch it. They don't share that in the video, do they, huh? So I had to unstitch because I literally had a weird pleat back here. I'm also checking underneath here, making sure I don't have no folds like I did earlier. It's real hard on the Longarm to get a perfectly straight 1/4 inch seam. So I ended up getting a ruler that I made. I think this spacing is a 1/2 inch, and use this 1/2 inch seam to get the line to be a straight 1/4 inch. Another thing that I had to use is my table, because it's not as easy as people make it seem, because your long arm wobbles a lot, especially when you're pulling it, and you don't get a beautiful straight line. But when you are doing it on a sewing machine, you end up getting a beautiful 1/4 inch seam line that's nice and straight. I don't know if the lady who was showing this video was pinning it. Ugh. So I lowered the machine, and I'm at the end. You can see that this is the end of the, I have one more row. Now, is this easier than sitting down? Yes and no. It's easier, but I'll give you my assessments in a minute. Another reason why I think this is not the most enjoyable technique is when you're sitting down, you can literally get your binding right on top of the quilt top, and it sits because it's laying down. On the long arm, there's so much flexibility because the quilt itself almost becomes like a table, so it bows and sinks, and when you're pulling the fabric, it's really hard, or I found it really hard, to make sure that the bias tape is directly on top of the quilt, because as I was moving the long arm, it would kind of move side to side. But, you know, it's doable. Right? This way. So it took me a good 1.5 hours of struggling to do this. Shoot. So did this make my life a bit easier? I can't say that at this current time because I'm kind of beat. Yeah. But man, I really appreciate you, and I thank you for watching. Jesus, take the wheel, because I don't know what just happened to me. I'm drained. All right, I'll let you go. Bye.